Hey everyone. All right, so let me continue to get into the last four wastes of TIMWOOD. I can complete the seven wastes, and I'll talk about the eighth one for that's thrown in the downtime. All right, so uh, oftentimes no one thinks about it, but don't you think that sitting around waiting for something to happen can be considered a waste? That's the W, waiting. So, depending on the circumstance, depending on the customer client requirements, you may not always have a choice. But looking at the workplace, the process, the different steps, is there someone somewhere sitting around waiting for work? Is it not steady? Can that individual maybe do something else in the meantime while they wait on whatever it may be? In manufacturing or other areas, you may have different stations in your workplace, and station 1 is busy, 2, 3, 4, and 5 may not be because they haven't gotten that work yet. But there may be other things that they could do to not waste resources and time in the workplace. So that is the W portion of TIMWOOD, is waiting. I'm sure a lot of people don't mind waiting, getting paid to sit around, but waiting is it's a waste, right? All right, so now we're going to get into the first O, which is overproducing. And oftentimes that may be considered the manufacturing world. They're producing too much of some kind of widget on the line, and it's going to be building up. Then you got to have a place to store it. That's a waste. So was there an analysis done? Does your customer and client actually need all that stuff? They may, right? But that is something to look at for waste. Are you making too much of something at one time? And it may build up. You may have to go out and spend more money to get some kind of storage for it temporarily. I've seen that happen. That's not always good. You're wasting money. So that's something to look at for waste. The second O is over processing. That may be an issue. Processes are a good thing. You really need processes to be successful. Without work instructions, your employees will have no idea really what to do. You may have a lot of experienced folks out there that have been doing it a long time, and they kind of know the drill. But if you especially get a new person in, that'll be a problem. Without work instructions, you won't have anything to fall back on. It's needed, especially if you have specific requirements from your customer and or client that your employees have to follow. But you can go overboard. You can get too detailed. One example, I've seen it. It's a crazy one, but you have to use a blue pen, not a black pen. That was written in a work instruction many years ago. Okay, well, unless there's a really specific requirement from your customer and or client for a specific color pen, that is over processing. Because if you have a quality auditor, internal or external, and you're using a black pen instead of a blue pen, you could be written up for that, for not following the process. And when I say written up, that means that you're not following the process. You, as an individual, don't get written up. At least you shouldn't, depending on how your business handles documented non-conformances. But look at what you are doing, what you have written down, and ensure that you don't have a whole bunch of unnecessary steps in your process that is going to get you in trouble, but it's just a waste of time. That's lean. That's waste. That's looking at ways to eliminate what you have written that you're doing that you don't need, but without it, you can still meet your customer and or client's requirements. You're still compliant, right? So just don't go crazy, right? I've seen it. I've seen both sides. I've seen not crazy enough, even remotely, and I've seen way crazy. Somewhere in between is a good thing, right? All right, and the last letter in TIMWOOD is D, is defects. All right, so you should be looking at defects to ensure that you don't have that in the workplace. That should be part of quality control reviews. It should be part of what you're checking to make sure that what you are doing, manufacturing, or even in the service world, what you're providing, doesn't have problems in it, right? And it's important, it's preferable to find any issues at the very beginning if you have any. You should plan what you need to be successful from the very beginning, but quality control is important at the beginning and throughout to ensure that whatever you're doing doesn't get out to your customer and or client and affect them in a negative way. So making sure that you're checking for defects is important, and we don't want to we don't want to go crazy, but having something in place, having someone to monitor throughout the process that we're doing what we need to is important. Even if it's one person, it's important, and it's ensuring your success for your customer and or client. All right, so that is TIMWOOD. Broken up in 2 long videos. I couldn't really shrink it too much, but that's the gist of that. Next video, I'll touch on a little bit of the 8 wastes, where they threw in an extra one in downtime. All right.